And we are live. It's Saturday. Thanks everybody for dropping by. I was just sitting there thinking in the last second before I went live, maybe I should have some intro music or something like that. I need to figure out how to do that. It's probably easy, but I just haven't put any thought into it. I was just thinking to myself, hey, when I go live, I just say, hey, I'm live, and there's not much more to it. I need to get a little bit, I'm trying to up my game a little bit. But thanks everybody for dropping by. Bronze Dragon here saying, hey, appreciate your time. So there's lots of big stuff going on right now. I feel like I say that every week, but several big things happening we can talk about. I did a video yesterday or the day before on the vote. That it's not a proposal, but it's a poll over on Peak D for the Tundra change, how they're going to handle the 5% lands. We can talk about that. Obviously, we can talk about the big thing that just occurred today. The new season rolled around, and you have to buy the battle pass to play in Wild, which was interesting because an hour or two ago I was checking out my account every day, a few times a day. I check out my account, what the situation is, what's going on. I take my SPS and roll it over and stake it. And I had noticed, hey, the season had rolled over. I had to accept my season winnings and then had to buy my battle pass. And if you're not completely up on the situation, I still think that going with vouchers is your best case scenario as far as price goes at this point, as far as what you're spending. I think the vouchers, using 40 vouchers, ended up being like 85 cents worth, something like that. So I think the worst case scenario is using credits, which you're going to pay the full $2. And obviously DEC is also, obviously down, so you're getting those at a cost reduction. So I have a poll up. We can discuss this as well because I think this is a big thing on everybody's mind. I know it's on mine because I shifted some vouchers over to my secondary account to go ahead and pay for it. I'm kind of thinking that it's not going to be worth it going forward. And this probably was a major factor when Matt and the team were discussing this, because I think that they're trying to kind of have everybody consolidate, and we have been seeing a lot of consolidation. There's a lot of other YouTubers that have been doing videos on, where the tokenomics is going and everything, and you can see the money and the tokens shift around, and you can a lot of that is kind of everybody's guessing that it's because of consolidation. But my plan right now is to go ahead and let both accounts work for a couple seasons, see where everything is averaging out, because as we know, there are a lot of variables going on. So obviously, I'll catch up with chat here in a minute. Thanks everybody for dropping by. Please like and subscribe. It helps me out. I have been picking up some more members lately, so I do appreciate all the new members. Appreciate everybody stopping by on Saturday to discuss this with me. But I think the variables, obviously, they did this to try and limit down the amount of bots in Wild. So they're hoping that some of the bot accounts fall off because they don't want to pay the fee. This will cause two main effects. This should cause the pool to be larger, SPS pool, for those of us who do stay, and it will cause a rebalancing. In other words, like I've said this a number of times, my account is a high gold reference kind of account, maybe diamond, low diamond account, and it's been making its way up into champ. I expect that should balance down, and more things should average out. So it'll be interesting. Like I said, I think when they make these big changes, there's too many variables in play for people to make a really good guess until we just see it happen. And I hate to see that. From an IT perspective, I like to test changes in a sandbox, air-gapped, and test changes several times before I make the changes, so I know exactly what's going to happen when I go live with that change, right? Well, this is a situation where you can't really do that. You don't know really what's going to happen. So it's like, Do your homework, make your best guess, do the change, hold your breath, and wait for everything to happen. Okay, let's catch up with chat now that I've had my piece there. Gathering the Magic's in the house. Joffrey Jones is in the house. Welcome. Gathering says, hello, all. Not sure how to vote. The pass will burn vouchers, but not sure if it will help the game overall. We will definitely see fewer wild players. I agree. Obviously, that's the goal. Well, the goal is to limit down the big bot farm wild players. I don't think the goal is to get rid of actual human people that are actually playing in wild. However, that's going to be a side effect, as I said in a video a couple videos ago, that we're just kind of like collateral damage. Oh, bots kicking in. I had some extra energy going on, so I went ahead and brought my Archmage up to 2 battles per hour. I usually only have it set at 1 battle per hour, just to make up some of the, use up some of that energy I had left over after I bought my season pass. So we'll see how it's going. I also wanted to make sure that Archmage, I don't know exactly how Archmage is going to work with that battle pass. I put a chat out in Discord to see if I could get an answer on that. Will Archmage just stop until you buy that battle pass and then automatically kick back on? Is there anything special you have to do? In my case, I had just bought the battle pass, and it took about 30-40 minutes after I made my Archmage changes, and it went ahead and kicked in. So this will have been my 2nd battle since the beginning of the new season, so we'll see how that goes once it picks it. Okay, let's catch back up. Gathering says, I'm only going to get 20 glint per win on my $10 account. Is it even worth it? 25 wins for a rare and 250 wins for 1 epic. Yeah, that's kind of my thinking, kind of comparatively speaking, with my secondary account, which is kind of in the same situation. It's a little bit higher than what your $10 account is, but it's the same argument, right? You get to the point where, is it even worth it price-wise? And should I just go ahead and just consolidate that account into my main account and go from there? So we'll have to see. Okay, let's take a look at this battle right up front. Let's see here. He's got all maxed out cards. A level 8 summoner versus a level 6 summoner. I still need to max out some of my summoners. I think Dwayne 16 has this, but let's go ahead and take a look at this while we're talking about chat. Let's see here. Paul Taylor's in the house. Howdy. Thanks for dropping by. And Alex B says, no, Gathering, it's not worth it. So he agrees. KGM Jam's in the house. What's up, everyone? Hey, KGM, glad to see you here. I hadn't seen any videos, so I'm glad I didn't know if anything was wrong or anything. So glad to see you here. Welcome. Gathering, or I haven't seen any videos this week, so it's been a little while. So, if everybody doesn't know, KGM does usually daily videos on various things he's doing. So Gathering the Magic says, play some Van Halen opening music, Dreams. I wish I could. However, when you play music on YouTube, you really have to stay away from copyrighted material. Otherwise, you will get a strike and you will have to take that video down. So I kind of have to stick with uncopyrighted, basically free stuff. I do have a service that I subscribe to that I can use. It's just figuring out how to, make it go in right. And I think some streams play music underneath while they're talking, and to me, I guess it's a fine line. Sometimes it helps out, but it has to be very low, otherwise it'll kind of ruin the discussion. Let's see here. The People's Guild's in the house. Welcome. Howdy, all. Been a while since I've caught up. I watched that last show you all had, and in fact, I'm getting ready to do a video. We were chatting a little bit in Discord yesterday or this morning sometime, and hey, I won that one. Wow, that's nice. It's nice. Okay, so let's take a look at it. So I'm in Diamond 1. Sorry, we'll get back to that topic, People's Guild. I'm in Diamond 1 currently. I started out the season in Diamond 1. I ended up with 296 glint and 1.8 SPS for that win. Okay, so That's kind of how I feel is kind of average, because when I end up being up in champ, let's go up. Also, I did buy some SPS this week. Not a lot, but I couldn't pass up the price. I know, I'm going to get bombarded, but it wasn't a lot. It was like $30 worth. But let's check out the price today, see what it's doing. I'm doing a refresh here. 1.0087. So it's doing a little bit of a rebound. I bought it like I bought it like 8.8 yesterday. So yeah, and you can notice that DEC is making a little bit of rebound as well. And I'm not trying to push this. I know we're in a down period, but if you're going to be sticking with Splinterlands the game, I feel that, and it's been, I'll admit, it's been a couple weeks since I bought any tokens, and I had been in a situation where I'd been buying a little bit every week. I do it kind of along the dollar cost averaging type idea, buy a little bit at a time, and it kind of all averages out, right? So instead of going in and making one big purchase, which some people have been doing this week, there have been some whales making some moves this week, but anyway, I bought a little bit more. I also bought some DEC as well because it's down. Because, you know, there are going to be some uses for it. The Immortal Creed pack sale coming up is one good use for DEC if you play Immortal Creed or are interested in that. And also, let me stop for a minute and just say, if you don't play any of these games we talk about, you can find a referral link in my chat. Just putting that out there in case you want to start playing. But also, when Land 2.0 eventually comes out, there will be plenty of uses of DEC. So I think if you have this idea of you're going to keep playing Splinterlands, I don't think you will. You know, I hate to talk about tokens going up and down because you can never tell what they're going to do. But in this game, a lot of times what they do is they give you credit for DEC at peg. You know, so if you're going to buy this or that, a lot of times they're going to give you credit for DEC at peg. And if you're buying way under peg, then you're making out on it. Of course, this all depends upon whether you believe in the game or not. Now, I'm so far invested in the game that I couldn't imagine even backing out. So I have bought a little bit of SPS and a little bit of DEC. So that increased my boost a little bit. I didn't really buy enough to increase it a lot. But there's that. So let's go ahead and catch up with chat. Sorry about that. Crypto Beaver says, let's see the SPS rewards we will be getting per win. This may help the numbers make sense. Yeah, like I said, back to the thing, there's just so many variables going down that, and I hate to say it, but once again, we're in a situation where we have to let things kind of re-average themselves. Now, I want to go back because the People's Guild had a good show recently, and you can check out their channel for that, but it was with Matt and I'm trying to remember who else it was. Boba Fett. Okay. And it was a great discussion. In fact, there's a lot of shows that this show really held my attention, and I'm getting ready to make later on this afternoon. I'm going to make another video, kind of my take on the situation, because Matt has. Am I saying it right? Let me look at it. Yeah, Matt Clark, not Yabba Matt. Matt Clark has a proposal. He hasn't put it out yet, but he's making it up as we talk. Currently, and it's about the idea of a tiered SPS staking system where people who stake for longer will get certain other benefits in the game, and that would serve to help SPS in the long run keep, staking for longer, kind of like a certificate of deposit at a bank or something like that. You stake for a longer period of time, and I'm not going to go into details because I'll do that in a video, but it's this whole idea of helping SPS out by staking longer and encouraging that. So I'll go to it, look for a video either later today or tomorrow on that, and thanks out to the People's Guild. Go check out that video. Obviously, when I do a video, I'll put a link in the show notes. directly to that video because it was an excellent discussion. But okay, let's see here. Let's Gathering says, I didn't even bother doing an end of season video, just got one legendary on my main. Laugh out loud. Alex B says, game is over, find a different game. Well, I hope not, but everybody has their own opinion. People's Guild says, go on then, Alex, scram. And KGM says, going to modern for a while. Interesting. I thought about that. Obviously, we're all in that situation where we got to think about, hey, do you want, well, not all of us. I mean, if you're already playing in Wild, you don't have to make that decision, right? But my other idea, and I thought it would make maybe entertaining shows where you get to view me playing in modern, getting beat up. But I know myself that I got in that situation. I could only do it for so long before I'd be hitting my head against my desk and be like, oh, stop this insanity, you know? So, because I don't have the best deck. In fact, I don't have a great deck at all. I do have several $1,000s invested, but that doesn't get you much these days. I mean, the card prices are down, but if you go to look at starting, hey, I want to max out cards, it just gets really expensive really fast. But let's see here. Alex B says, why do I have to leave? I like bronze and play Golem in the guild from the beginning. I like bronze. Fair enough. Gathering the magic, getting more into land, filling plots, picking up cheap workers, flipping packs for funds. Yeah, I had heard you were, as one of your talking points on your videos about flipping packs. I had thought about buying some packs. I haven't opened any packs in quite a while now. I need to do a video and obviously go and look at what I'm going to buy with my last season's winnings. Obviously, I'm going to do some rare draws. I'm in a situation where I'm trying to max out my rare summoners first. And let's take a look. You can see they're getting in that situation where, 6, 7, I just have a couple more levels. Actually, one more level, but it takes a fair amount to get up from that, 85 BCX to 115. So, but I'm still in the situation where I need to concentrate on the rare draws. I do know that a lot of the people are focusing on epics and legendaries, and there's something to be said for I also get some chests, but I haven't been focusing on them just due to their randomness, right? I also think there's a lot of value in the merits and increasing those cards as well because they're pretty strong, right? Let's catch up with chat. Avox. Welcome. That's a new name. Thanks for dropping by. Does bot extraction and human extraction change all that much? Yes, it stems the bleeding, but the pass comes from a misguided place. Just responded to the question. The poll. Yeah. Pay attention to the poll. There is a poll at the top. Just something I was wondering, and I've started putting a poll in, and then that's something we can, look at the votes towards the end of the show. Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting, there's so many different discussion points here, I think a lot of people agree, and people are going to hurt me for this, but a lot of people agree that back in the day when everything was going well, the bots were pretty much running the system. They were drawing out of the system, but they were all also renting and etc. And then when a lot of those were removed, that's when we started going down, right? The rental market went way down, and I'm not on the side of bots, but I'm just trying to look at it from both sides, right? So there's a lot to be said here. I have to take this, and I have to, like I said, I'm going to have to play a couple seasons and then kind of make up my mind as far as what I see. Obviously, to make up for the season pass, what I win is going to have to come up, right? So this wild rank we saw got me 1.8 SPS and 296 glint in Diamond 1. So I don't see a whole lot of difference. Obviously, we're going to have to go for a few days, a week, and then look at the numbers as far as numbers of overall matches played, right? So, and get a better idea. So there's a few the guys that do videos that do much better at that. I know Aftersound loves to look at the numbers and give his outtake on that. So I'll be looking forward to that. So we'll see. I imagine that after 2 seasons, I'll have to make up my mind. At this point, my best guess is I will probably have to consolidate my secondary account into my primary and then play for a while. And if it's still worth it, if not, I have to decide whether I want to play in Modern, because at a certain point, I'm not going to be able to play in Modern, because when Chaos Legion cycles out of Modern, it's either I buy, and this is something that is a big picture type thing for everybody playing the game, okay? Because most of our decks are Chaos Legion, let's face it. Once that cycles out of Modern, we're not really going to have the option to play in Modern, okay? So you're going to have to pay that season fee to play in Wild, okay? If you want to play in Modern, guess what? You're going to have to shell out some big bucks and buy a bunch of packs or buy the expensive single BCX on the market, right? So, and this is nothing new, right? This is the same kind of marketing that Magic the Gathering and Pokemon use in real life TCGs, right? If you want to keep up with the real life tournaments and everything, you have to go out and you have to shell out thousands of dollars for the newest cards, right? Whatever's the meta, right? The best card. So I'm not arguing for it or against it. I'm just trying to look at it from every different angle, right? Good point, though, Avox. Wibble says, Wibble's in the house. Welcome, Wibble. Gathering says, good conversation with the Splinterlands 101 crew. Excellent. People's Guild says, nice, man. Yeah, looking forward to it. I'm sure Matt will appreciate the additional thoughts, too. Yeah, I was listening, as usual. I was listening, usually I listen to Splinterlands videos when I'm working out in the morning. I happen to be working in around lunchtime. I was doing some monotonous tasks that I needed to take care of, so I put on your podcast so I could listen in the background while I was getting other work done, and I found it interesting. So, but the point is, once you all started talking about it, I came up with some other ideas in my head, thinking of, you remember the part of the conversation where you said, and I don't want to give away too much because I want everybody to go over and check out that podcast from y'all, but remember the part of the conversation where you were talking about how it could actually be woven into the story? So my idea is more about how it could be woven into the story of Splinterlands, as well as possibly use assets the game already has in place to put it in. My ideas aren't so much about the numbers where he's coming from. Once again, I won't get too far into that. But I like the idea of having a tiered SPS system. Is that going to fix the game? No, it's not going to fix the game. Hopefully they're working on things right now that is going to make the game better overall. But that is specifically targeted at fixing SPS or bringing the value of SPS back up. So okay, let's continue. Gathering says, how much SPS do you need to get like a 3 times multiplier, 3,000-ish rating? I don't know. This says it's so everything. There's so many variables here that fluctuate. I don't know. Like I said, I've never been one to go in and buy a huge chunk at a time. My approach has always just been, a little bit at a time, that dollar cost averaging type idea, Avox says, I can tell SPS DEC keep going down based on previous performance and no upward catalyst. Next set release, whenever, might be one, cause that did get DEC at peg last year. Once again, a lot of variables, but if you look at tokens overall, and I'm not talking about DEC, I'm just talking about them all gaming tokens. If you look at their graphs, they're pretty much all down. There are a few games that are making strides, but most gaming tokens are down, right? So what can you say? And I've never professed to be a market maker, a really good guy at looking at the markets and telling you what. But you're right, I agree. They have to put some kind of reason in the game to use SPS and DEC to bring the price back up. Because what's going to bring the price up, really, big picture wise, getting more people in the game, right? This has been said a number of times in all the various conversations about the game in Discord and town halls. It all comes down to making the game good enough and bringing down the barriers of getting people into the game to bring more people on board. And like I've said before, I've talked about before, it's all about bringing those Web 2 people over to Web 3. And what's this mean? This means making it easy. First of all, making a good enough game that's fun to play and making it easy for a Web 2 type person to get in and say, hey, I'm going to try this Web 3 game out, okay? So because the more people we have in the game, the more need for SPS and DEC, right? We can sit here and we can argue about it until the cows come home, but the main answer is making a better game and getting it out there and getting more people into it, you know? And that really solves it all, right? Getting more people in increases not the value, but the buy pressure on SPS and DEC. It increases the buy pressure on cards. So, it just brings everything up. So that's what it comes down to in my mind. The People's Guild says, yep, it was Splinterlands 101 guys, Matt Clark and Boba Fett. Yep. That's right. Gathering says, I like Matt's idea of staking SPS for a year or so. Yeah, I liked the tiered staking idea. People's Guild says, we've got the Discord link in the Peak D article at Gathering the Magic. Feel free to hop in and drop your thoughts if you feel keen. Once again, I'll be doing a video on that after I have to go get a haircut, but after this sometime this afternoon. So there's so much going on, and I've been playing Atlas Earth a lot lately, and I've also been playing a new game on Immutable X called Medieval Empires, which they don't really have any tokenization going right now, but if you like that whole build up your town, create armies, attack other towns and stuff like that. If you like that whole type of game, that's what they're building over on Immutable X. I've also been playing Guild of Guardians, which is also on Immutable X. I like the game overall. The only tokenization they really have in the game at this point is build up your Guardians, spend some money to make them into NFTs, and then resell them for profit, which is to me a downward slide because the more of these that get in the ecosystem, the price just keeps going down. So I like playing the game. It's a fun game to play. I don't know how much money I'm going to put into it, but I may do a video on that at some point. And like I said, I did get in. Haven't bought any cards in Splinterlands this week, but I did get some DEC and SPS. So because that whole card discussion to me is kind of weird I can understand it from both standpoints, okay? So we're talking about cards generally speaking, in a collectible card games, a lot of cards are, as they get older and their numbers come down, their price goes up. With the recent moves in Splinterlands, obviously the big named cards, the big legendaries and stuff, are probably always going to maintain their value at some point. Obviously, we've seen them come down somewhat over the years, but compared to commons and stuff like that, they will hold a lot better value because they have better play value, right? But a lot of the older cards, and I'm talking, Chaos Legion will be, whenever it cycles out, it will be in the quote-unquote old cards category, and that means that their prices will go down once they hit, unless they're still really good play cards in Wild. You have to consider the prices involved in playing with Wild, what we're going to be getting out of it. I'm just saying it's going to be a weird situation where it's going to be this moving target of cards. You're always going to have to continue if you want to play in Modern. You buy a big set of cards, play in Modern for a while, then those cycle out and most likely lose value. It's just a weird situation to be in, to me. But it's a big discussion. I think it's been on the tip of everybody's mind lately. So all that said, I haven't bought any cards this week because of that thought. I do like the idea of Matt and Boba Fett was talking, or I think it was Matt was talking about buying up older cards. He likes the alphas, and yeah, I mean they're cool because you can play some alphas in Wild and betas, and sometimes people haven't even seen those, so they don't even know the strategy of how to combat them, right? But overall, the prices mostly have come down, so. I would, I'm in the situation where I paid some big bucks, what I consider big bucks, for some of the Chaos Legion cards when they first came out and they were, in low in prints. I remember paying $25 for a Jin Oshawott, right? And I still maintain it's a great play card, but it's nowhere near $25 right now. And when it cycles out of Modern, it'll keep going down, right? So, Okay, let's catch up with chat. KGM says, picked up 2 maxed out Bakjiras. They are currently under $10 in the market. It is an excellent card for bronze, silver, and a little bit of gold. I picked up a bunch of those several months ago and put them on land. I've cycled out of, let's jump over to the market and go to Chaos Legion Core and go to units and go to legendary. Now a lot of these, especially price wise, let's look at these on Peak Monsters. That's a better idea. We go Chaos Legion and just go to legendaries. You can see a lot of these represent, if you're going to stake out and go with just standard BCX or standard foil cards on your lands, these represent a really good value. They're also good play cards, let's face it. Jin Oshawott is showing up as only 36 cents per BCX right now, but it's a great play card. So is Heartclaw, so is Venator Kinjo, Jin Bilka, Jared Scar. Not so much at Freet Rising, certain situations. I don't use these to the Fang very much. River Hellendale gets a lot of use in my deck, right? Of course, the Fiends. All these are low priced right now. Great play cards. And also good value to stake on land as far as prices go, especially if you go with the gold foil, right? So, I've been using the gold foil commons and rares because you get up to legendary and they start getting kind of pricey. Let's see here. People's Guild says, great pickup, KGM. Avox says, if only the team can replicate the economy of MTGA or be willing to try. Imagine Magic the Gathering, but can keep buy and sell your collection of cards. They also have monthly tournaments for a 2.5K prize. Are you talking, what's the A stand for? Arena? Magic the Gathering Arena? It would be interesting. Well, that's one of the things that got me into playing Splinterlands, is because I played Magic the Gathering a lot in the early days, not so much lately. I stopped playing whenever it very much got very complicated, right? It went from a pretty simple game that was easy to understand and wrap your mind around to let's put out a expansion 4 times a year, and with each expansion we have to continually complicate the game, which is a direction that Splinterlands is heading in. Let's face it, because they have to keep coming up with new things, and all these new powers and everything like that. It just continually complicates the game. So at a certain point, that might drive some people away, right? So if I jump back in and try to play modern, it's like jumping in the deep end. It might be fun to watch me, but I'm probably there for a while. I'm probably not going to win many matches until I start buying more cards, right? So, and learn how to use them, right? So the People's Guild says agreed. It's an iterative process. A lot of sharp folks in the community here. Got to get the best ideas to the top. Yeah, I mean, who knows? I just put out videos, and I think Gathering's better at coming up with ideas for the game than I am. And it's like this continual kind of evolution of trying to put out videos that people are interested in hearing, but trying not to copy anybody, right? I don't want Gathering to come on and say, "Hey man, you copied my idea off my video," or something like that. I don't want that. I want to come up with new stuff. And a lot of these topics we're all talking about are the same topics. It's just hopefully we have different viewpoints, different ideas. And I think that even with a small development team, I think the idea that there's a small development team means that they need our ideas more, right? Because you never know. I've talked about this with my friends at work, right? There's a lot of topics, and this is kind of slightly off the beaten path of this topic, though, that there's a lot of talk about people not wanting to come back into the office to work, right? And my main point here is there's a value in getting a lot of people into a room and talking about discussing a certain topic, because you never know who is going to come up with an idea that everybody's like, "That's brilliant. That's a great idea." Whereas if you didn't have that meeting, you wouldn't have that. And in Splinterlands, that's the same kind of idea, but it's in the form of having videos, having discussion, having SPS proposals, and you don't even have to pay for a proposal. If you have a good enough idea, and like Matt Clark's doing, he's putting together this idea and he's going to submit it to the DAO. Maybe the DAO will help sponsor, right? And maybe you don't have to pay for the whole thing. Maybe you only pay for part of it or something like that. And maybe the whole idea is to help the game overall, right? So, okay, let's jump back here. Okay, let's continue. Joffrey Jones says Parallel Planet Falls packs for the win. Yeah, I remember that you were talking a couple days ago about Planet Fall packs going live. Somebody had said you had to buy them in ETH. I don't play Parallel. I played it. I jumped in and I played a couple hands. It didn't grab me enough. But it is something I need to revisit. It seems like Parallel, although I think the price is going down, like I said, of the token, that is, I think pretty much across the board tokens have gone down for the most part. But if you do play Parallel, Planetfall packs just released this last week, I believe. I don't know any of the details about that. I do need to revisit the game, though. Let's see here. Avox says most tokens are up, actually. 1 year graph, at least, the big ones that I know about. People's Guild says Oceanus really real meta again. Great to see. Jin Oceanus was one of those cards that when it first came out, I loved it. I loved right off, so let's take a look at. In fact, I don't even know how many of them I own, at this point. Across, let's just reset. Across all my lands, etc. So I have some here. I have some on lands. I have some on my other accounts. So I do like the card, though. Very strong. Gathering says chaos packs under 40 cents. Wonder if they will get down to a quarter a piece. At what point do they just get absorbed and mass opens across for land? That is what Matt Clark is doing. Yeah, when they just discussed about it, and obviously it's, for all us card players, it's very tempting. It's very tempting. You know, you go into the market, let's go to other items, and you look at Chaos Legion and you see they're sitting at 40 cents, right? Various people are dumping them off. That's fine. I mean, I still don't have max level Chaos Legion cards, so I was entertaining the idea of buying up like 100 packs or something and doing a pack opening. And I know people would say, "Oh, you're dumb for doing that." And I know that even at 40 cents, you're probably not going to get 40 cents worth when you open a pack, right? But once in a while, it would help. It would help me fill out my deck more for however long Chaos Legion is going to be playable in. It's always going to be playable in Wild, but the idea is to possibly play in Modern. It's very tempting, and as you said, if you have a bunch of land, it would also be very tempting for that. I do have all my land plots filled out currently, and if you've watched my let's go to production. If you watch any of my videos, you know that all of them have gold foil commons and rares at this point. The action I've been taking on my lands is kind of upgrading maxed gold foil commons to maxed gold foil rares, and in a few cases I've been upgrading common totems to rare totems. I've been keeping an eye on the market, and there's a certain price point when the rare totem fragments hit it. I buy rare totem fragments. Let's check where the totem fragments are today. Not quite to where I buy them, but yeah. So that's what I've been doing. Not investment advice, just land play. What I've been doing in land play. Let's see here. Avox says Magic the Gathering Arena free to play, free packs every single day if you play. If only those were tradable. Yeah, I agree. Like I said, I originally got into Splinterlands because I had come from Magic, and I liked the idea of a card game online where you could buy, sell, trade cards online and not have to go down to the local store, and you know how the whole thing is. The problem is I had this huge expensive set, and I'm kicking myself in the butt for selling it back in the day, but it's still very hard to go and sell cards. Okay, you go into a store and you sell physical cards, and obviously the store has to make their cut, so they're going to give you about 40% of the overall book value of the cards, and it's just not conducive these days. So I like the idea of being able to trade in an NFT format, and for that the game's been awesome. Buy, sell, trade. Not that I've done a whole lot of selling, but that's my point on that. But I agree with you. It would be great. And that kind of broaches on a subject that KGM brings up a lot on his videos, is the fact of having a name brand, right? And having a game that is a major name brand actually go Web3 would be huge, right? And he's put out a lot of videos that Disney and such doing NFTs and things like that, but I'm talking about a main game, right? And like I said, I hate to say it, but looking at the big picture of things, Splinterlands is ripe for being bought up by a bigger company. And all it would take is a major name brand to want to go live Web3 with one of their names, like Disney or whatever. And Splinterlands has the technology, has everything, the platform set up. All big company would have to do is come by, and I know Matt said he doesn't like the idea and wouldn't do it, but you and I know that human mentality is they see enough zeros on a check, they're gonna sell, right? So, But I like the idea, and we'll see where it goes. But I think the one thing holding back, and this is another topic people have been talking about lately, is the blockchain, right? So I don't know. For some reason, Hive has not been getting as much play or as much popularity as other bigger gaming blockchains. So that's another thing to talk about, right? Why? Hive has always worked pretty well. I mean, once in a while there's hiccups. You can see the Hive gets behind once in a while and everything, but compared to other blockchains, I'm not really familiar with other. I do play some games on Wax, but and I am now playing on Immutable X, but I haven't done any token transfers or anything. But there are, I guess the point is Hive isn't the most popular. It's very low on the list compared to some of the other gaming blockchains. So there's that as well. Crypto Beaver says, hit that like button. Yes, please. Hit that like and subscribe. Let's see here. Leandro, another new name. Thanks for dropping by. Prime went from 25 to 10 in the past 2 weeks. Okay. I haven't been following that, so I'll take your word on that. Gathering says, always keep my eye on the Chaos Gold Foil Epics for land. Yeah, any of the Chaos Legion Gold Foils represent a good value for land if you're going to play in the land, and it really comes down to how many lands you have, how much investment you want to put into them. Like I said, I started off by staking mine out with gold foil commons. The price is very attractive for what you get out of them, and I'm slowly upgrading to rares, which leaves some gold foil commons to put on other lands should I buy more, so. Avox says, Chaos Legion actually costs 36 cents, discount on Hive Engine. True. If someone's buying a lot of packs, good to track price on both markets. Yeah, you're correct. Usually you can go over on Hive Engine and get a little bit of a discount. I just use the main website for, ease of, graphics and everything like that. But it is true. If you've been playing for a while, you pretty much know that. If you haven't been playing for a while and you're relatively new, if you go over on Hive Engine, we can go to tokens, and you can usually buy the packs on Hive Engine for a little bit less than the game, and then just transfer them into the game because the packs are tokenized, so you can buy, sell, trade them on Hive Engine, and usually it's a little bit less than in game. So good point, though. Good point. My Financial Journeys in the house says, I'd take 40% of what I paid for my Chaos Legion cards all day long right now. We're trading digitally, except losing 90% of the value. This is true. This is true. I think somebody bought. I was talking about that in one of my videos a week or two ago. Whereas I was talking about the whole idea of this new change coming into play with the Wild Season Pass, and the whole idea of ticket, or once cards cycle out of Modern, the values go down, the prices go down, this whole idea. And they said, well, you're talking about something completely different than physical TCGs, right? Because you make tokens, you make SPS when you play in Modern, right? And that's the whole difference here versus physical TCGs. But, you can directly compare that with, you can go down and you can find a Magic the Gathering tournament and win money if you're good enough and have a good enough deck. But once again, it comes back to buying all the newest cards, etc. So good point, though. Good thing to talk about. Although I dislike, I dislike the whole Chaos Legion. That's been a discussion point lately as well, what to do about that. But as far as I know, everybody's got a ton of extra Chaos Legion card packs and everything. And the only thing that's going to solve that is time. As Chaos Legion cycles out of Modern, then we go into a radical change of what modern will be. Okay, this radical change means that people will have to invest a lot of money in the newest packs because they're not going to see all the massively overprinted Chaos Legion cards. All those are going to be relegated to Wild, right? So, but it'll be a while before that happens. So, something to think about though if you're buying the higher level Chaos Legion cards at this point. Gathering says, Blizzard going to acquire Splinterlands? No. Well, I just call it like I see it, man. I call it like I see it. It happens all day long. This is what companies do these days, okay? Especially development companies, okay? They have a functionality they need. It is cheaper to go buy a company that's already designed the functionality that they need. It's cheaper to go buy that company and integrate it into their product line than it is to get this big team together and start from scratch. Okay, I know this because this happened to my company. Okay, and I'm not mentioning my company, but it got bought up by a very big company worldwide, and we're homogenized and we were integrated into their product line, and we're still in the process, but it's the whole idea set. That's how big companies do it these days. It's cheaper. It saves money, right? Now, it's not usually, it usually turns out bad for the players because you end up getting bombarded with, and this is all theoretically, but anyway, you see my point. I won't go too far down that path. And my financial journey says, also, to your point of a bigger company acquiring Splinterlands, companies don't always purchase other companies to utilize their assets. Sometimes they do it to bury the competition. This is true. This is true. However, I'm more looking at the technology that the Splinterlands, the Steemit company, has developed and the platform. Okay, now we've talked about this, and I know that this company is falling behind the competition because on other blockchains, you're starting to see other blockchains develop this same thing that Splinterlands is doing as far as a gaming platform with multiple games on it. Okay, we see other companies doing it on other blockchains now that are leagues ahead of where Splinterlands is. Okay. So they're falling behind, and it's mostly because them having to, I guess, cut the team down and everything. But they're falling behind the competition. Okay. Gathering says $10 plots are back. Let's go. I had looked earlier. Well, let's go over on Peak Monsters. Land market. Looks like blocks are currently behind, 13.5 minute delay. Let's refresh. Yep, still on a delay. So this immediately after I said Hive's been working pretty good. Yeah, we're down at $10. Anybody wants to jump in and buy some $10 plots? Once again, and we haven't really talked about it, but the big if you haven't put your word in, check out the video I did yesterday. It's about the changes to the 5% land. It's not a proposal, but they're asking what everybody generally thinks about how the 5% lands should be upgraded. So it is worth going over and putting your vote in. Let's see here. Gold foil epics under $3. I'm going shopping after the stream, says Gathering. Avox says SPL should use next set proceeds to fund daily tournaments, like 30K in prizes every single day, 12 million a year, and assuming set sells for 60 million as Chaos Legion did. Interesting idea. I think that they're trying to get the game in a better situation to start advertising, and I think that a good set of tournaments like you're talking about would be part of a good marketing campaign. Okay, and we've talked about the marketing that needs to occur after the game gets in a little bit better situation, and by that I mean it needs to be they're working on different aspects of it, but it needs to be easier to get into and play, and there just needs to be less hurdles because we need more of those Web 2 people over. It needs to be a fun game, easy to get into, needs to be, I would like to see a mobile app. Obviously, they just got rid of the mobile app, and I know it takes a completely different skill set on the team to develop a mobile app in the specialization. But let's face it, I mean, we're in a mobile economy. If you want to be a really high-ranked application, you need to be on mobile. But I'd like to see that in the future as well. But, yeah. My Financial Journey says, site's broken, can't submit battles. People's Guild says the rental minimum to 1 DEC proposal is live. I will vote for that. Let's go over and take that. I did see the proposal went live, so yep, you've seen it here. I'm voting for it. Avox says the game just needs more money flowing in it. Then people will come. It does have enough money flowing about. That's a big discussion as well, and we're drawing to the bottom of the hour here. But I think the answer, once again, is just getting more players. And I don't even know my vote's going to go through because, like you said, yeah, there's a problem. Yeah, you know, going back to Peak Monsters. Yeah, see, there's still a 16-minute delay. So there's a problem with the blockchain here. And this vote is not even going to go through because there's a problem with the blockchain, obviously. So either way, I agree with that one as well. So go cast your vote. I also voted for yes for the Immortal Creed because I like playing that once in a while. I need to get back into it. I haven't played it, but you know, this kind of plays in with DEC. If you want to play Immortal Creed, grab you some DEC now, and that'll just make the packs a little bit cheaper. So let's see here. But I agree about the point. It just comes down to bringing more people in because at this point, I think we're at a risk of being top heavy because the whales basically control the game. Let's face it. What I vote and what you vote doesn't really matter in the big scheme of things because if the whales all go in one way, they're going to win it. So, but that's how a pay to win game goes, right? So I do like the overall idea of the whole SPS DAO and the ecosystem where you can cast your vote and your vote has a certain weight. But when it all comes down to it, the guys at the top that have 15, 20, 25, 30 million SPS staked, whatever they vote, it's going to go that way, right? So now on their side, you know, they have to be very careful on how they vote and make their decision. Obviously, they're at that point, they've spent so much money in the game, they're going to do what benefits their pocketbook the most. Hopefully, they also think about what benefits the game the most, but I'm never going to be in that situation. I'm barely 67,000, you know, and I have never taken any SPS out of the game. I use it from time to time. You can see that I do keep a 500 SPS kind of cushion here, liquid, in case I want to buy some packs on another game or something like that. But that's all engineered specifically for me. Everything else goes right into restaked and has been over the years. So My Financial Journey says, so why do we get a message on Peak Monsters about the delay, but we don't get a message on the actual game? I don't know, but that would be a good thing to populate in the game. It does show when you're, like when I just voted, it does show that little error at the top that says, hey, it would be nice to get a banner that says, hey, you know, everything's running behind, there's an issue with the blockchain. And then you would know not to like do some big action that might fail in the middle of it, like, you know, send 10,000 SPS or something like that. You know, it would be nice. But you do get that little error when it errors out. But before that happens, you don't see anything. The People's Guild says, I can't understand why folks would downvote the Immortal Creed proposal. I don't know. It's a win-win. I mean, it's advertising for Immortal Creed. They're trying to get their name out there. So they're giving they're basically taking no profit for some of the for 1,000 packs, and they're burning and taking DEC in payment, and they're going to burn it all. So it only benefits DEC, and the Splinterlands team doesn't have to do anything, So as far as I know. Yeah, it burns DEC full stop. We're coming to the bottom of the hour, so we'll finish up here. But I do thank everybody for stopping by. Use the links in the show notes if you want to start any of the games we've talked about. Avox says 2 million DEC is a drop in the bucket. Essentially, I know, it's a drop in the bucket, but it's better than nothing, right? So my financial journey, and it's a huge cost for them, right? Because you're talking about 2 guys developing a game, right? And they make as far as I know, they don't make a whole lot of, you got these games being developed by 1, 2, 3 people. They're not making a lot of money on it, especially when you look on the blockchain and there's very little action. They're just doing it because they want to develop a game. And if you like to play, it just helps them out, right? They're doing it for marketing. My Financial Journey says, literally copy the script that Peak Monsters has at the top of the page. It would require much work. Yeah, good point. I'm sure Jarvie would help. Yeah, I agree. Gathering says they need to get rid of burning cards for DEC. Every new set creates so much DEC. Yep, I would agree with that. People's Guild says it sets a precedent, and Gathering Magic gets the last comment here as we are drawing down. Thanks for the stream. Have a great week. Keep on forging and have fun. I agree. Thanks, everybody, for dropping by. I hope everyone on your side is happy and healthy, and I will see you in Splinterlands.